Hi guys, 14th Prime here, back with another custom review, and today we're looking at the Transformers Legacy Shattered Glass Drift. See, here he is in his car mode. Before we look at him, let's take a quick look at the paints. First off, I did use some gray surface primer, as well as the usual TS79 semi-gloss clear. I did also use white surface primer, but I don't currently have it. If you've seen any other video where I've used white primer, it's the same one. TS26 pure whites. TS29 semi-gloss black for focus, thank you. TS8 Italian red for focus, thank you. As well as a little bit of chrome silver, X11 chrome silver. And finally, X18 semi-gloss black. And here he is in his car mode, and this is based off of the Legacy Prime Universe Cliff Jumper mold. Why did I do this? I just kind of got the idea one day. And then it became an idea on the board, which I don't know if I mentioned this on the channel yet, but I have an ideas board that it helps me keep track of ideas and just different concepts I have. It's a fun little thing I'm doing this year. We'll see how it goes. So far, I've been clearing off stuff from the board, and then adding more things back to the board. But this video ain't about the board; it's about the thing in front of you. But as you can see here, it is that red vehicle, and of course, you know the figure's already red, so that helps out a lot. But I see this less as trying to get it as close as possible, and more so just kind of a translation of deco into a sort of newer idea. You see here this nice whole black going through, and then the silver headlights, which honestly I just like that look in general. That is mean. A little bit of black going on there. The kanji, which was very interesting to do. Very nervous. Like I almost omitted this entirely because I didn't really think it would go too well. But I also figured for Shattered Glass Drift I had to have it, which I'll compare that here in a second. Got some white running along through here because I couldn't do the whole lines thing on this mold, but I could do this at least to kind of give a similar idea. And then while he doesn't have a spoiler for some black is still there. Some nice Autobot symbols. And yeah, just for a comparison, we will bring in the actual Shattered Glass Drift. Actually, let me flip them around. This is so much bigger. Toys from 2010 were so much bigger. And you can see just kind of where some of the ideas come from. You know, like a bit of the black here is there. That extra bit of black is up here. And also because I had to sand off the horns and it just wouldn't look right, so I figured I'd paint that area black. No way I was matching this red. We'll get to that later. But the kanji, I think, turned out surprisingly well. Of course, I didn't outline it with the black because I felt like that would have kind of ruined it a little bit. Which it isn't perfect. It isn't one-to-one. But I think I sort of translated it okay, considering what I did here is I literally masked off everything around this square, and then I had to make the shape of the kanji with the masking tape, and then I white primed it, white sprayed it, and it turned out pretty good. Like I'm sort of just impressed. Like I said, it could have been way worse. It isn't perfect, but I do like it. I do think it's neat. And again, the whole black spoiler details. Do a little zoom out just to get one more impression of the two together. Yeah, like I said, this isn't meant to replace a Shattered Glass Drift. This is kind of just a different idea, I suppose. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the vehicle mode. So let's go ahead and get him all transformed up into his robot mode. And here in robot mode, I do think he looks pretty good. Honestly, I think all this black and white in general just looks great on a Cliff Jumper body. Kind of reminds me of like a mix of like the movie and like IDW when he had that bit of white on him. I don't know. I think it's fun. But real quick, before we get into his robot mode, I just got this in the mail. The MDLX Shattered Glass Rodimus. Ignore that part. Boo. But if you guys want a review of this at some point, just let me know. I haven't even cracked them open yet. Because I got Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus today, too. I was like, I want that more. I'll wait a day. But, toy at hand. He looks pretty great. The main thing here is the head, which is actually a... If it'll focus, please. Please. Thank you. Sort of. I think it's just the colors of this head. I can never match red plastic on these toys. Like, to me, a red, I think I've discussed it before, just doesn't have a lot of variety. But the head is actually a modified head from a GDO Springer. If you hear noises, I apologize. The cat is trying to get into a box. Okay. But, is a modified head from GDO Springer, which I really wasn't wanting to use for a little while because I couldn't find just his head or even one that was broken that I could just take a head from. So I had to buy the complete toy, but then I ended up liking the toy, and so I just kind of had to bite the bullet eventually. So I just have a headless GDO Springer running around. But the rest of him is quite nice. You see the translated details from the vehicle mode, and then a few new ones here. We have like the black on the sides of the crotch and the red, which this was just gunmetal on the toy, and I just took the paint off. I think it looks quite nice. A little bits of white in the kneecaps, which I think just pop super hard. And then I actually really like the bits of white on the insides of the legs. Like I know it's solely a car mode detail. It makes no sense in Roa mode, but I don't know. It just kind of brings them out a little bit. And I think that's fun. In terms of new details, that's really about it. There isn't too much for this mold that the Roa mode has that the alt mode doesn't. So we'll go ahead and get into comparisons. Here he is with Drift, which, once again, toys from back then are tall, man. Get the camera up just a little. There we go. And you can see a lot of the details translated. I try to get some black on the shoulders. The forearms I kept with the bare red, black fists, white on the kneecaps, black feet. Yeah, I tried to get as much as I could. But I do think it did turn out quite nice. His eyes are white, for the record. It's just, you can't really see him with the silver, and I kind of wish I, outlined them or something, because you really just, they are white. It's just kind of hard to see on a camera. I should have, left some red around there, maybe some black. Because if you didn't know, the colors are based on Deadpool. So, I mean, if I did some black around the eyes, probably would have made sense. But, oh well. Now, for accessories, I have a spare gun. I think this is Studio Series Wheeljack, right? For the Rise of the Beast, that's his gun. I think this is his gun. It was a spare in my box, with my bag. He has gun. And then he also has sword. I have no idea what this is or where it came from. All I know is that there were 2 of these in my bag, and I had to modify the handle to fit in his hand. but it looks cool. I like it. It looks cool with him. I think he likes it. I don't know what this sword is. Oh yeah, and I think I mentioned this whenever I did my other custom from this mold, but honestly, to get a new head on here, I had to sand back down here to where these were nubs that actually more so filled in some parts of the torso, but just so that the head wouldn't paint chip, I had to sand these down. So there's a little tip for anyone painting this mold. And also, heads for this mold are hard. This one actually perfectly fit, surprisingly, but since it's not all the way back like the other one is. Ball joint is in the back of the head though, so that does help. And then, he has to deal with the fact that if you just have his head stock still, he's just kind of blocking his own mouth. He's all mysterious. You just see his eyes. Ooh. But yeah. Overall, I do still like this custom. It was more so just kind of a fun experiment. I just kind of had the base idea. I don't even think I did a digibash. Oh, yeah, one more thing I gotta look out for too is this paint here can chip on the end of this, and I couldn't really sand it down that much to keep it from happening. So it's just, anytime I pose this thing, I have to be real careful. Almost happened. Oof. Which, of course, like the official versions that paint that part don't do that, but you know, I don't have that luxury. Let's get the camera down just a bit. There we go. I can't move it a little more up because this tripod kind of sucks, I'm going to be honest. Am I allowed to complain about the tripod that I bought? Because it does kind of suck, and I probably should just get a different one. But it's a tripod. It's not as annoying to adjust as my other one was. The show can go on. But yeah, again, with this custom, I do like it. I do think it's fun. It was fun just to kind of have the bit of an experiment because Hasbro has not released a new Generations Drift based on the IDW one, like the original toy is, since the original toy. The closest we have is the Takara Adventure repaint of Red 15 Drift with a new head, which I know Hasbro sort of did one without a new head and a much lamer deco, but it doesn't count. Well, I guess we have the Cyberverse Warrior. I guess that one's trying a little bit, but that's, that's a Cyberverse Warrior. It kind of sucks. By the way, if you didn't know, the first Deadlock toy, his one and only original mold, is a Cyberverse Warrior toy, and it's really bad. I don't know if I ever talked about it on the channel, but it's really bad. But, yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much all I have to say. So, please be sure to check out my channel for more video and custom reviews, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can also come check out my Facebook and Twitter pages, links in the description below. And this is the 14th Prime, signing out.